Welcome to KX News on the Go and happy Friday. I'm Chance. Some believe Thanksgiving doesn't start until running the annual turkey trot. Early Thursday morning, organizers say close to 2,000 people gathered to lace up for a good cause, bringing awareness and raising money for those in the state who have cystic fibrosis. And despite the cold weather and icy roads, many showed up with their running shoes, costumes, and smiles on their face. Pam Thompson says around 170 people in North Dakota have CF, and with only 2 CF clinics in the state, this event goes a long way in helping folks get the care they need.
We're raising money for people who are living with cystic fibrosis. It's a genetic disease. It affects mainly the lungs and the digestive system, but it kind of affects every body system.
Pam says this event alone so far raised $90,000. We also have a great story for our Someone You Should Know this week with Amber French on a family over adoption. They have adopted some kids with Down syndrome, so check that out on our website, kxnet.com. In continuing coverage on a bill passed now by the state legislature, the public is being asked for their input on some new travel disclosure rules for public officials. Earlier this year, House Bill 1469 was passed in response to former state Senator Ray Holmberg, who was sentenced for traveling to Europe to engage with sex with minors. The bill advanced financial transparency as well, requiring public officials to file statements of interest every year with the Secretary of State. This means public officials are required to report every time they travel in an official's capacity, stating clearly where, why, or how much, and the source of the funds. The rules will also set penalties for non-compliance. This includes fees of up to $500 for filing their statements late incorrectly, as well as failing to file or falsifying a report. The fee was initially set at $5,000, but was reduced during the latest round of amendments. State Ethics Commission Executive Director Rebecca Benstock said once the travel is reported, it must be listed in a place that's accessible to the public.
And so when they go ahead and they submit that, it should be a 15-minute form. Generally, where did you go? What were the dates? Who paid for it? What was the cost? You know, we're looking for basic information so that we can then share that with the public.
The Ethics Commission updated the rules at its November 19th meeting. You have until December 14th to submit your feedback. And if you want to participate in that survey, you can follow the link over on our website at kxnet.com. Happy Friday and good morning, Vanessa.
Happy Friday, everyone. We are already starting to see some of those snow showers filling in, especially all morning long out towards northeastern Montana, down towards the far southwestern corner of the state there as well, or I should say approaching a little bit due eastward of that. But right between Wolf Point and Culbertson along Highway 2, seeing more of those moderate bands of snow here overall. Down to the far southwestern part of the region, closer to New England and Mott, which is what we've been tracking for you all morning long here, coming out of Belfield, approaching closer to Glen Ullin and New Salem right along I-94 there. So please, please, please make sure you're being mindful of this. Give yourself plenty of extra time out on the roads. Temperature-wise, we have gone back down to the single digits out towards the Magic City area. Teens for the rest of us, 14 in Bismarck, 14 Watford City, 13 for Williston. That, of course, not factoring in our wind chill values, which are a thing based on that southeasterly flow of winds that you're seeing there on the map. Temperature-wise across the rest of the region, there are still a few spots that are closer to the upper teens, even in those spots that are closer to more of those heavier bands of snow. But speaking of the snow, we do want to time this out for you overall. Precision cast wise, going to show you more of that snow continuing to fill in across western North Dakota and approach further eastward, due eastward by the mid-morning hours. We should see most of this within the Bisman area. So if you can get out on the road early, that is the best case scenario, because we're going to continue to see this become a bit more widespread as we get closer to the late evening hours here overall. This continues to fill in. Now, compared to our last system, notice how we're not likely going to be dealing with any heavier bands of snow. That all comes down to the state of our high temperatures, which will likely be into more of those teens overall, meaning that the snow is going to take on more of that light and powdery consistency compared to the heavy wet snow we dealt with earlier on in the week. The snow continues to taper off from the north to the south here, especially down towards Corson County, South Dakota. This is going to last through at least the mid-morning hours of tomorrow. But beyond this, The cloud cover is going to stay in place, kind of stay parked here. It's going to provide us with a bit of a chill going into Sunday. Not much changing with the snowfall potential here. Overall, the highest amounts, that 3 to 6 inch range, remain down towards the South Dakota border. Around 3 to 5 is where you're going to get towards Greater Dickinson area. 2 to 4 in that darker shade of blue, around the 2 to 3 inch range closer to the Bisman area. And now this is not really the system for you. The further north you are located, you can see around that trace to 1 inch ratio there up towards the Magic City area and closer to Williston there as well. Temperatures going into tomorrow, not much of a difference compared to today in terms of those highs into the teens, some low teens expected out towards northeastern Montana. Regardless, we're expecting that chill to come into play as we get into Sunday. Briefly here, looking at Williston, your next 5 here. We're going to be talking temperatures into the 20s for today. Beyond that, looking at the teens going into Saturday. By Sunday, the single digits. Overnight lows below 0 there for a couple of days before getting back into the 30s on Tuesday. I think it's in your next 5 going to reflect those 20s down into the teens, up into the 30s briefly as we get into Tuesday. Similar temperature pattern here at Minot's next several days into the teens, down into the low teens, all we're going to get towards as we get into Sunday. Beyond that, near the 30-degree mark for Tuesday, before things become a little bit more unsettled going into the end of the 7-day there, going into the teens and 20s again. And finally, looking at Bismarck, your next several days here are going to be into the 20s, the lower teens for Sunday at the chilliest point of the next 7. Then we get back into the teens, closer to the 30s by Tuesday briefly. We let go of that warmth again, kind of those temperatures going up and down by quite a bit through the course of the next several days, Chance.
Vanessa, thank you. For everyone here at KX News, I'm Chance. Stay warm. We'll see you next week.